Hello y'all and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to start with the houseplant start in the Aerogarden. So here I have just added two romaine pods. You can probably tell which two are the new ones. I replaced the one that was at the very back here, and then I also added one that was not there originally. And I put two new seeds in there for I bought a new pack of seeds. I think I mentioned that last week, but I bought a new pack of seeds, and as you guys can see, that particular the seed, this one's also from the new pack, and it's sprouting. And then these two I just put in literally a few minutes ago. And then we have the cinnamon basil. So the two that have been there, cinnamon basil and the first romaine pod, are sprouting, and the other two just started. So maybe my next week, because romaine typically will sprout in about a week. So maybe by next week there might be a little sprout there. So this is what's going on with the Aerogarden, with this Aerogarden. So looking at the days, the Aerogarden itself has been going for 40 days. So the cinnamon basil has been there the entire time. The other one hasn't been there the whole 40 days because there was a seed there that didn't grow, and I put the new seed in and it's growing. So I'm not quite sure how long. It's probably been about 2 weeks for that one. And we're starting today with the other two. So starting on day 40 is actually day one for those other two romaines. So that's just how they're doing it right now. We'll take a look at the other Aerogarden, which also has one romaine and kale. And so as you can see, it's continuing to grow in the romaine there. And then we have the kale, which is starting to grow as well. And really, you could start pulling those leaves if you wanted to for the kale. All right, and before we head out to the balcony garden, I just want to show you guys how the houseplants are doing. So this is my white wizard plant, as I've shown before, and it has grown some new leaves. So you can kind of tell because they are a little lighter in color and shiny. And so you see we have one still unfolding, and then we have another new one here that has recently unfolded. And you kind of see, I love that it's having the white, hence the name White Wizard, speck there. Some of them have it, some of them don't. But you can see there are more leaves coming in, and with the weather and being right here by the window, it seems to be pretty happy. So this plant seems to be doing well, and I've had this plant for a year or two now. I've purchased it since I've been here, and I've been where I'm living now about 3 years. So I want to say I've had this for at least like 2 years, and it's done very well. It started off as a small plant, and actually this pot right here that big leaf is covering, but that is what that plant came in. So you can see that it's definitely grown quite a bit since then. So it seems to be doing well and happy, and I repotted it. So hopefully it will be there for a while. Looking at some of the other things, you guys can see the new plant stand, or the IKEA plant stand. Just checking in on everything. Seems to be doing well. So not too much to say there, nothing new, just kind of checking in on how they're doing. Yeah, I did add this Rex plant because when I got my new bookcase, it was on my old bookcase, but when I got my new bookcase, I had to find a new spot for it, so I moved it down here, the Rex plant, but it seems to be okay for now, so we'll let it sit there. And I do get a good amount of sun since it is facing that way. So it gets a lot of sunlight during the day, which makes these plants very happy, especially the white wizard plant, but also the croton plants, which are these last two on the end. Both of those are two different variants of croton plants, in the blue container and on the end, and they enjoy lots of light and warm weather. And it actually just rained today, so it's actually humid, which they also enjoy. So just giving you guys a little look at the houseplants, and now we will rotate on out to the balcony garden. All right, y'all, welcome back to the balcony garden, and here we're starting with the rosemary as well as the mint. So our herbs, they're sitting on the top, they're doing quite well. There's just been some rain, so they've been flourishing. And also on the end there we have the catnip. As you can see, it's spreading all over the place. So yeah, everything needs to be harvested. Definitely mojito mint is up there on the top. Definitely need to trim some of that to start making some mojitos. Spearmint down there on the bottom, and also next to the spearmint in the blue container is the lemon balm. As you can see, it is regrowing from when it kind of got damaged in the early part of the season from the inconsistent weather. Here we have the basils there, Greek oregano, It is also one of the ones that's recovering. And we have my citronella plant there. And that's sweet basil in the orange. And then next to it is the fresca basil right here, which is also starting to grow. My sweet banana pepper, yes, I know it's probably time to just go ahead and take that off the vine. And then we also have another pepper. So I was trying to get the angle to show you guys there's another one coming in. And there are a couple more buds on the pepper branch, so hopefully we'll get a few more of those peppers. There's the Thai basil. Yes, I know it's flowering. My friend is actually coming down to visit, and she requested Thai basil, so I'm probably going to give her a good chunk of that. Strawberries are coming in. I don't know if you guys can tell, but those little buds, and I was trying to get close enough for you to see, those little buds are actually little berries coming in that I could see. So hopefully those will produce strawberries. I will be giving it some more fertilizer probably in the early part of this week to see if that will continue to spurt along. And here we have the tomato plants. I'm first going to just show you both of them so you can see how tall they're getting. And there is a cage there if you can't see, so they do have support. But the tomatoes are really starting to take off. I haven't added any more fertilizer other than the Joe's fertilizer stick, but I think now the weather has kind of leveled out, and with it being pretty decent weather and we've had a little bit of rain, they're really starting to take off. And as you can see, those are some of the big husky ones, and they are ready to come off the vine. So I'll probably take them off in the next day or two. And then here we have the sun sugar ones, and those are actually ready because that's the coloring that they did get. They don't get red like the ones next to it. They kind of have that reddish orange color. And I'm also just showing you guys that there are more coming in. They're still green, but we have more growing. So yeah, those are all the colored ones that you see are ready to come off. So I'm thinking maybe with the husky red, I might do a bruschetta. And the other ones I think are a little bit better for either snacking or maybe even a sauce. And last we have the peppers. As you can see, there are buds on both pepper plants. And after this video, after I filmed this part, I actually did add the cages to them. So the next time you see the balcony garden, they will have their support cages as well, because I noticed they are starting to get to the point where they're starting to lean a little bit, and the buds being there once the peppers start, and because they are going to be larger peppers, they will probably start leaning. So I went ahead and started building in the support so they can start growing that way. And that's all, and thanks for watching.